Good afternoon to everyone at today's public hearing of the Prosecutor Vetting Commission. My name is Christopher Lehman, Chairperson of the Commission, and I declare the session to be open. Our commission is established under Law 252 on the external evaluation of judges and prosecutors. Article 22, paragraph 13 of that law provides that the commission will assess candidates for the Superior Council of Prosecutors Selection and Evaluation Board according to the procedures and criteria regulated by law number 26 of 2022 on measures related to the selection of candidates for the positions of members of the self-administration bodies of the prosecutors. The hearing is also being conducted under the rules of procedure of the Commission for Evaluations under Law 26 of 2022. The subject of today's hearing is Octavian Lazarev, candidate for the Superior Council of Prosecutors Discipline, and I'm sorry, this is the Selection and Evaluation Board, right? Yeah. Mr. Lazarev, welcome. Let me introduce my colleagues on the commission. From my far right, Nadezhda Hryptievsky, Irmantas Mikalonis. To my immediate right, the Vice Chair of the Commission, Virginia Mararu. To my far left, Cornel Lebedinsky, and to my immediate left, Saskia de Vries. The commission is also assisted by members of our secretariat. The hearing is open to the public and members of the media. The hearing will be conducted in English and Romanian with simultaneous interpretation. It's important that everyone speak clearly and articulate their words carefully for the interpreters. The proceedings are being recorded. The recordings of the commission are available on our website 3 days after the hearing. Mr. Lazarev, during the hearing, one or more members of the commission will ask you questions. I ask you to respond truthfully and carefully. Your explanations are important to the commission and will be used by us in evaluating your financial and ethical integrity. In formulating our questions, we'll take into account your privacy and, where required and possible, the privacy of your family members and close persons. So to that end, we'll leave out any unnecessary details regarding bank account numbers, ID numbers, specific addresses of real estate, and the like. And we would ask that you do the same in responding to the questions, take into account your privacy with regards to those matters. At the end of the hearing, we'll give you an opportunity to make a closing statement to the commission. Let me start by briefly reviewing the evaluation process for Octavian Lazarev. The commission initiated the process on the 22nd of December 2023 by notifying the candidate by email and asking him to complete and return the ethics questionnaire and financial declaration. The candidate did so and returned the completed questionnaire and declaration on the 27th of December 2023. As part of the evaluation of the subject's ethical and financial integrity, the commission also obtains information from many other sources. Those include the National Integrity Authority, the State Fiscal Service, the General Inspector of the Border Police, other public institutions, financial institutions, and open sources. The commission assesses the information it obtains from these sources for relevance and reliability. The commission also sent you 3 rounds of questions on 19 June 2024, 25 July 2024, and 3 September 2024, to which you responded. On the 2nd of October of this year, the commission invited you to attend today's hearing, and at that time we notified you of the topics that would be discussed today. Mr. Lazarev, again, thank you for appearing today. I'll begin with my questions for you. I ask you to respond in a complete and truthful manner. Let me start by asking if you wish to make any additions or corrections to the answers that you previously provided to the commission in our request for information.
No, thank you. No, nothing. I answered all the questions and provided everything.
Thank you. And the answers that were provided on the 27th of December of last year, 2023, in the 5-year declarations and the ethics questionnaire, are those accurate as of today?
Da, cu siguranță.
Yes, certainly.
Thanks. Let me start with the questions related to the follow-up. You received and reported a donation of about 500,000 Moldovan lei from your parents in 2021. Is that correct?
Da.
Yes.
And you completed your financial declaration for the year 2021, correct?
Da, da, este corect.
Yes, correct.
And that declaration would have been completed actually in March of 2022, if that's correct.
Da.
Yes.
But in that declaration, you did not report the amount received as a donation. You did not report it as cash savings as required under Part 5, letter C of the declaration form, did you?
Dacă aceasta este întrebare,
If that is the question, I will answer.
stimați membri,
Esteemed members,
în general, că este o
generally
problemă
speaking,
sau a fost problemă cu completarea
it is a
declarațiilor
problem,
anuale.
or there was a problem in filling out annual declarations. Well, it was in the beginning and it continues to be a problem for some people. Because from the beginning, we were guided by representatives of the Office of the Prosecutor General's HR department who were checking our declarations, and they were guiding us highlighting our mistakes. And then in 2016, an instruction was issued, which to some extent,
Sau departamentală, care
a departmental level guidance instruction that we should have known, but unfortunately there are some issues that happened. And I declare why this wasn't done. Because from the beginning we were guided to say that you have to declare savings on bank accounts and have a value of more than 15 average salaries, national salaries. And when I declared in 2021 this donation, I believed it to be declared already. I did not know that it also is applicable to Chapter 5 financial assets. Honestly, even now when I read, it's still a little unclear for me.
nu pot nimic aici să spun.
But I can't say anything. Indeed, I did not declare it. I can only consult representatives of National Integrity Authority and make the corrections if they tell me so and if that is allowed. Because I know that I was checked. There was a report published on agency's website where they wrote that I didn't have any mistakes. That's why this happened. Like, I confirm that this donation took place and the money is there. I must only add the data to show it.
And did you file a declaration for the year 2022, a financial declaration?
Da.
And that would have been
Yes.
filed in
Și asta urma să fie depusă în martie.
I'm having a problem with the translation.
În martie
I'm getting the
2022, da.
March
Martie
2022.
2022, da, eu trebuie să
I had to show it in March 2022, but I did not declare it, and I was checked by the agency, and I did not know about it. It's not a problem.
Because of the problems with the translation, I'm going to repeat the question just so it's clear on the record. Did you file a financial declaration for the year 2022?
Da.
And
Yes.
would that have been filed in March 2023?
Pentru anul 2022.
For year 2022, yes, it should have been in March 2023.
And did you report the cash savings on that declaration?
Nu, tot nu am raportat.
No, I didn't declare because I did not know about this.
Încă o dată repet,
Once more, I repeat,
reșind din capitolul 5,
based
cum eu îl
on
citesc,
Chapter
active
5, as
financiare
I
în
read
țară
it,
și în
financial
străinătate,
assets in country
eu n-am
and
înțeles
abroad,
această
I did
noțiune.
not
Credeam
understand
că
that
se referă
notion.
numai
I
la conturi
believe
bancare
it only
și
applies to
activele
bank
care
accounts
depășesc 15
and
salarii medii
assets
prognozate
that
pe economie.
exceed
Cum și am
15
fost
national
îndrumat
average
din start
salaries, as I
în
was
anii
guided from the beginning,
2009,
since
2010,
2009 or 10.
But you did still have that cash at home in
Da.
2022 and in March of 2023. Okay, thank you.
Și acum l-am.
I did have it, I still have it. I still have the money.
And then I want to move on. As I understand, starting in 2016, your wife began receiving deposits to a bank account in Romania from the Romanian government in the form of child care allowances. That's correct?
Da,
Yes.
corect.
And those deposits have continued on an annual basis through 2023 and actually continue this year as well.
Da, până la atingerea
Yes,
vârstei de 18
until
ani a
the
copiilor.
child
Copiii au la un moment
turns
16
18,
ani.
and the children are 16 right now.
And in 2016, you did not declare that amount on your annual declarations to the NIA, did you?
Da, eu n-am declarat. Din
I did
2016
not
până în
declare.
2022
Between
n-am
2016 and
declarat. Și pot să vă explic
2022,
că
I did not
această
declare it, and
întrebare
I can explain it because
din
this
start,
question,
eu am consultat atunci
well, I
și,
consulted back
mă rog,
then.
eu aici nu vreau să acuz tot
I
corpul de
don't want to
procurori, dar știu
accuse
că
the entire
problema aceasta
prosecutorial
există și la
corps,
alți
but I know
procurori. Că nouă
that
ne-au spus
other
că
prosecutors
banii
had the
alocați de
same issue as well,
guvernul
because we were
României
told
nu
that
se
money
declară
coming
în
from the
Moldova.
Romanian government
Că
shouldn't be
acest
declared
moment
in Moldova,
monitorizează
because this is being
organele
monitored
fiscale
by
a
tax
României,
authority from
cum
Romania,
cu banii, adică
meaning that
circuitul numai pe
the
acest teritoriu.
it was about the circuit of money on this territory only. But when I found out about it, I declared, for 2023, I declared this money.
Și clar lucru,
And
continui
of
până
course,
fie
I will continue
continuat.
to
Eu,
do this
special,
as
la momentul când
required,
Comisia ne-a pus
especially when the
întrebarea, eu
Commission
simplu n-aveam
asked
acces
me.
la
I just
conturi
did not
bancare
have
și
access to the
data
bank
de 19
accounts.
septembrie,
And
dacă nu
on
greșesc,
September
am
19th,
fost
if I'm
în
not
România,
mistaken, I
special,
went to
nu
Romania.
special, că
Well, not
la mine soția se
especially, but
tratează și
my wife was
când am
getting
fost la
treatment.
investigație, am
And
intrat
when we
într-o bancă
went
și
to
am
get some
verificat
tests done,
extrasele și am
we
prezentat
went to a
comisiei.
bank, we retrieved all bank statements and
nu-
submitted to the Commission to show transparency. So there is no purpose to hide anything. We are absolutely open.
Recunosc că
I admit
din necunoștință.
that because of lack of knowledge, I did not declare the money.
These allowances were not insignificant amounts, were they?
Da, ele la început, în genere,
At the
erau 40 de roni,
beginning, there were 40 Romanian lei,
80 de lei,
80 Moldovan lei
Per month.
pe lună, formale, da.
per month.
Acum s-au mărit.
Now it grew up to 2,000 lei, Moldovan lei,
Transferat.
if we exchange it.
Atunci era
But back then,
80 de lei.
But that number's double that. There's two children, so there's two allowances, correct?
Da, gemeni, da.
twins, indeed, too.
Okay. So in 2022, the allowances would total around 5,832 Romanian lei.
Could you please repeat this number? That was fast.
5,000,
eu
repeating
am
for
prezentat
the
tabelul.
interpreters, in 2022, the amount of the two allowances would total approximately 5,832 Romanian lei.
Da.
Yes.
Posibil, că eu am declarat.
Possible. It's possible. I declared.
Looking at the NIA declaration form, Part 2, Section 8, it asks for declaration of income from other sources, and it says pensions, stipends, allowances, bonuses. What part of that instruction didn't you understand?
Pot numai să repet
I can only
de
repeat.
necunoștință și
It was
îndrumarea
because of lack
incorectă.
of knowledge
Nouă ni s-a
and
spus că
wrongful
indemnizația
guidance.
din
We were
partea
told that
Guvernului
the
României nu se declară
allowance from the Romanian government is not to be declared in Moldova.
Așa suma nesemnificativă.
Mr. Lazarev, how long have you been a prosecutor?
Am stagiu mai mult de 35 de ani.
More than 35 years.
And how long have you been a lawyer?
Dacă de luat și studiile,
Well, if we include the education time, or from the moment I started to work, or from the time I started, I started in 1989.
In 2018, from January to May, you set up and maintained a bank deposit. I'll just call it the M Bank in the amount of 100,000 lei. Isn't that correct?
corect.
Correct.
But you didn't report that bank account when you filled out your declaration of assets and personal interests that was filed in March of 2018, did you?
Corect.
Correct.
Moving on to a separate issue, you and your wife bought a house in, and forgive me if I mispronounce it, Staucheni Village in June of 2011?
Da, satul.
Yeah.
Da.
And that was a good-sized house, approximately 150 square meters on a half-acre plot. Is that right?
Da.
Yes.
And as the price that you and your wife paid for that house on the 9th of June 2011 was 23,120 Moldovan lei. Is that right?
Sorry, n-am auzit.
I couldn't hear.
The price that you and your wife paid for the house in June of 2011 in Moldovan lei, 23,120 Moldovan lei. Is that the right amount?
Da.
Okay.
Nu,
Yes.
corect.
It is correct.
And at the time of the purchase, the house was 61% finished. Is that correct?
Conform documentelor, da.
According to the documentation, yes, it is correct.
So that includes foundation walls, interior walls, and the roof?
Da.
Yes.
How would you explain the extraordinary difference between the price you paid, 23,120 lei, and other estimates for fair market value of such property in that community in 2011?
Da. Pot să dau și explicații.
I can explain,
Să trec și în revistă informația prezentată de
and
anumite
I
persoane care
can speak of the discussion of the information provided by a certain real estate agency which is attached to my file.
considerentele referitor la lotul de teren.
With respect to the land plot, first of all,
Este o coincidență între informația care e
it's a
prezentată
coincidence between the information provided by the real estate agency
lotul real
and the
prezentat în satul
actual
Staucheni. În primul rând,
land plot in
Staucheni,
Staucheni village. First of all,
ca sat, ca
Staucheni as a
este
village, as a
în două
suburb,
părți.
is divided into two parts.
Staucheni vechi și
It's
Staucheni
Old
nou.
Staucheni and New Staucheni.
Staucheni vechi, deja
Old
cu
Staucheni
infrastructura bine stabilită.
has a well-established infrastructure.
Asta a
New
fost
Staucheni,
trecut un lot
well,
din extra
it
de
was
lan în
a
extra de lan.
land plot moved from
Prin anii ce
farming land to the built-in area. So just
infrastructura și
at that time,
loturile cele care prezentau
the infrastructure and those land plots, they were
arăta
not
un sat clasic, adică
looking
drumurile
like
nu
a
erau
classic village.
luminate,
There were no
nu erau
roads,
trase,
no street lights,
nu era centralizată cu
no
canalizarea.
centralized
Asigurarea cu apă.
sewage system, water supply.
Erau, ca să diminuate, prețurile acolo erau
The
absolut alte.
prices were totally different in that region.
Eu vreau să vă spun că chiar
I
eu
want to
am
tell you
analizat
that
cu
I
atenție
have
două
analyzed
scrisori,
carefully
informații prezentate de bursa anumită.
pieces of information provided by this real estate agency, and they contradict themselves in their answer. The first one that they provided on the 19th of January to the Commission's request, they said that in 2021-2023, they don't have information about an average value. In item 3, they wrote that the average market value they had only for apartments in Chisinau for the years 2015 to 2023. Chisinau city is Chisinau city. Suburbs are not included. They are part of the municipality, not of the city. Then we see a table, and if we just look at it and we multiply the numbers there, it's a paradigm. Between 2008 and 2011, the development of profits from 2 to 4,000 per year decreases to 3,500 in 2016, and then goes up and stays constant afterwards. And the second letter was the same. I want to tell you something else. I had some interaction with this real estate agency, and it doesn't have the best reputation on the territory of Moldova. And they privatized that area. They are setting some overestimated prices that you can't believe. I can tell you exactly that in 2011, when I purchased, the price per air was up to $600 at that time. Secondly, I want to tell you that this notion of 61%, no document. I don't have any document where from this completion of 61% comes from. I accept that. Well, it was in the document 61%, but well, the house was actually remade. We strengthened the foundation, changed the windows, because someone was doing things quickly at that time, just putting walls, but we needed to make effort to build a good house. And also, the seller dictates the price, not the buyer. The buyer either agrees or doesn't. There was a discussion with the seller who insisted on that price. He said what was his investment. He wants just to get his investment back, and he admitted that the land plot is not. I bought it, one land plot, and I believe it. There was a construction on it as well. I had my reasons, and the price established by the seller, and I accepted it because it wasn't deflated. I can't follow the market price valid for Chisinau or for a community where the infrastructure is well developed for living, or you move into a house which is ready to live, like 61% as a gray walls or white walls stage where you just need some minor investment and just can move in and live. But my situation was absolutely different.
But you do understand that the difference between the Lara estimate for 2011 and what you paid is a difference, a magnitude of 50 times, 50 times. It's not a small discrepancy, is it?
I understand, but I draw your attention again. Read their answers, where they say they did not have the prices for that period of time, and after that, again, there's an estimated amount for certain suburbs. They are using the word suburbs, and these are totally different things. You know, if it were a well-established place where this real estate agency would be working, maybe I understood. But they're just contradicting themselves in the answers that they were providing. And you could go back to those answers once more and check what they are writing, how they are providing information.
Well, actually, we did, and we provided that to you. They did specifically look at Staucheny for similar plots to yours.
Well, the word Staucheny is not in there. Once more, in the first answer,
No, I'm talking about their subsequent answer.
the subsequent, well, if you look at the subsequent, in the first one they said that they don't have for Staucheny they don't have data, and half a year later, where from did they get that? Well, in the first answer they said they don't have such information. There's no clarity. And in the second part, they don't make a delimitation between land plot and the house. They said house and land plot, built or not built, just add one sentence saying that it depends on location, on the extent of completion, so they start to vary and play with the words. But if you follow this real estate, all those prices that keep growing because most their prices are not justified most of all, and they're playing the most negative role. This real estate agency is playing the most negative role.
So, Mr. Lazarev, do you really have no photos of the house in 2011 or at any time before 2018?
I presented what I had. You know that everyone has information in their phone, and when you change the phone, you lose information. I used to have, but I no longer have this information. I would gladly present it because it's related to the credibility from the Commission or the society to what we are doing. This is important. And you saw that I presented everything that I had. And if I had this, I would offer it. And I would give the possibility to show everyone what happened, what was there, what is there.
Let me turn to a company owned by your wife. I'll just call it Company V. She has a company here in Chisinau, correct?
Yes, it is registered on her name.
Owns and, among other things, it owns and leases some commercial real estate. Correct?
Yes, she has a facility.
I understand, according to the answers, did you provide your email and phone number to the State Fiscal Service as the contact person for that company?
I
admit that indeed, well, it wasn't me who gave this information. When the company of the wife was registered and the data was presented, in some period, well, actually, my wife is a doctor. She's a surgeon obstetrician. She's half a day in surgeries, and at one point, she couldn't be found, or I don't remember the year. So she had to offer some information to the state tax service. And if I didn't give my name, just we thought about giving my phone number and the email so that if I receive some information, I will inform her. I wasn't against this, but I can tell you that throughout this period, I was never contacted by the state tax services, neither by email nor by phone. Indeed, I admit that this might have happened. If you have it, I didn't see it. But I told my wife that she can give my contact details.
You did tell her that.
She asked me, can I offer this? So her activity was separate from mine, but I could help her to be like a middleman to give her the information. And I said yes. This is how I could help my wife.
And I understand that you also made payments for utility services for that company that your wife owned out of your bank accounts. Isn't that correct?
In fact, well, I can explain that my bank card is with my wife. This is how the things are in our family. We decided that she manages the finances, she buys things. If this was made from my bank account, then it must have been like this. I cannot challenge this. She used to use my bank card.
So that would include payments for utility services such as water and electricity and heating used by the company. Okay. And those payments
Yes.
would have been made using funds from your salary as a prosecutor and your pension, specifically out of the bank account where that salary and the pension were deposited, correct?
Yes, from my bank account. But I cannot reply now which money went where. So my bank card was with my wife.
And those payments have been made from 2016 up to the present from your bank accounts.
I don't know until when, not until present. I think that up to 2022, something like this.
And you're familiar with the Prosecutor Code of Ethics? Are you familiar with the Prosecutor Code of Ethics? Yeah. And are you familiar
Yes.
with the provision that states that the position of prosecutor shall be incompatible with any other private position?
Yes, I do.
I don't have any further questions at this point, but I will ask if any of my colleagues would like to ask. Cornell?
Dear Mr. Prosecutor, I have some clarification questions. Given into account what you have declared in the meeting. The first is on how you were trained to fill in the asset and personal interest declarations. You declared that in 2009 and 2010 you were trained by the HR service of the prosecutor. We were not trained, we were verified, so you were verified by them. Yes, so then I rephrase my question. Please tell the Commission if you ever had a training from an internal body of the prosecutor's office or from a specialized body, and when this training took place. From the beginning and up to now, no prosecutor was trained, no training was organized. Thank you. The second question, do you know that in 2016, two laws, 132 on the National Authority of Integrity was passed, deciding to transform the National Center for Integrity to the National Authority for Integrity, and the second, 133, which established the declaration of assets and the personal interest. So the new type to, so the new way to submit this declaration. Yes, and you have studied these laws. Yes, I have. I cannot say I didn't. You know that we studied them, and then this turns into discussions, into colleagues. Yes, you know that discussions create reality. Do you know that later, in order to implement law number 133, the National Authority for Integrity issued a regulation for filling in the declaration of assets and personal interests. To be honest, I only found out about this last year. I don't want to lie, but last year, when the authority requested explanations on the 500,000, no, the donation from my mother-in-law. So I would like to discuss about this. Yes, because if you studied it, you may have noticed that in Chapter 5 of that regulation or guidelines on filling in the declaration, there are two different parts. One is on amounts that exceed 15 average salaries that are on the bank account that you own. And if we speak about savings, the guidelines mention this, except those that are present on the bank account. And this is in parentheses, in cash, in national or foreign currency. So last year, when you studied these guidelines, did you clarify how you need to fill in? To be honest, I don't want to lie. Given the workload that we have and the delays, I didn't have time to look into detail. Sometimes I'm drafting documents during the night, during Sundays, Saturdays. I'm guilty, but lack of knowledge is not an excuse. Moreover, than that you are a prosecutor, you understand this. And in the criminal code, we have provisions on illicit enrichment, and it is related to the incorrect declaration of these incomes and their amounts. And the last question that I would like to ask, that the state tax service has your contact details for the company administered by your wife. You, as a prosecutor with an experience of 35 years, could you give an explanation for possible ethical doubt? Because the first person that civil servant that has checkups in the financial area, when the person replies and they say, "Hello, I'm a prosecutor," for an independent person, would this type of introduction raise suspicions? Thank you. Thank you for your question. Suspicions are raised when this is done intentionally, when you emphasize this, or you tell your wife or other persons that all calls should be redirected to solve an issue. This is not related only to ethics, but more. In this case, I honestly don't remember this moment. My wife asked if she could do this, and the idea was, if they call you, just redirect them to me or tell me. And I had a tough discussion with my wife that I don't want to have headaches because of the activities of her company. She should handle this on her own. Thank you for your detailed response. And another question, how many times were you contacted by this body? In all honesty, I can tell you that I was never contacted. To be honest, I don't know in what year my phone number was given. It will disappear from there tomorrow, but I was never contacted. Mr. Chair, I have no further questions. Thank you.
If there are any other members, Montes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. I would like to ask questions regarding your phone number that were used as a contact phone for your wife's company. This phone number is your private or service phone number?
This is the private number. It is my personal number. It is mine.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Virginia.
Mr. Prosecutor, you have high number of years of experience. We won't ask you how many times the criminal code or criminal procedure code were amended but in 2002, the first law was passed, and the prosecutors are even mentioned in the title. How credible it is from outside, as a subject of declaration and as a professional, how credible are your statements that you didn't examine the law well enough so that you know what you need to declare as a prosecutor and the subject of declaration, knowing that you can be legally liable for inexactitudes in your declarations? Thank you. I can repeat now. I think that, there's a saying, what you prioritize first of all. I can't answer, I can answer in more detail now, and we can continue the discussion, but this does not justify. So, as I mentioned, lack of knowledge of the legislation is not an excuse. We just can say how much this impacts in a low, the impact is low, medium. But, we discuss about the deadline for arrest. We need to close this file, so we need to go on the field. Your children are crying and you need to run. You need to have the declaration, then you have the guidelines here. Dear colleagues, are there some specificities? No. You remember something and you put it down. And I don't think that some insignificant omissions. But I can only say that in my case it's a misconduct that is not essential, but this is not a justification. I did not do this intently, but I don't think that I would doubt the credibility or ethics. And another clarification question also on declarations. Given the fact that there were some unclarities that you discussed with your colleagues, maybe you got to some common ground or not, but you had the understanding that some things had to be declared as you understood them, so you declared them in that way. So I would like to understand, because you declared the code that there were never trainings carried out for prosecutors, except the verifications that were done by the personnel from human resources, but I think it was up to 2016. So did you, as an employee of the prosecutor's office, together with your colleagues, have ever requested to your superiors to have some counseling, or did you ask this individually to the NIA to have counseling? Because in the end, we have the right to defend ourselves and to clarify everything in order to have correct declarations. The only thing that I can tell you for sure is that I've had requests, and I can tell you the answer. There are phone numbers. They say press this, then they say you'll get the PDF, you can read it. I had specific questions, and they didn't answer. Even from the NIA, they said, read and you will understand. And this was because it wasn't clear when there were some amendments when the social insurance company started to pay for this amount. The first week when you are sick is paid for the employer, then it is paid by the social insurance company. And I was in the hospital for a period, and I didn't know this, so I declared. So you can see on the side that I changed 2-3 declarations, and I couldn't find the answer until one colleague sat by my side and he explained to me. And I called the social insurance company. I got some information from there, and then I corrected the information. Thank you. As a professional, if the representatives of the authority did not give you clarifications, I believe this was done via phone, not through a written document. Didn't you have any other requests, because you are a lawyer? This is what I said. I used the phone. I did not do any other requests, because this was how we were trained, that the leadership would carry out the trainings or would do the requests. This is why I chose this path. But I understand, I saw some mistakes, and I'm trying to read carefully. And I saw this section on filling in the form. So you have a template that already has the data, and it has mistakes, and I've noticed this, and I would correct them along the way. But our internet is not that good, so you fill in, then you lose the information, and you spend 1-2 hours trying to enter the data.
Are we done? Mr. Lazarev, give you an opportunity to make any closing statement you'd like to make.
Da, vă mulțumesc. Stimate domnule
Yes, thank you, esteemed chair, esteemed members of the commission. I, as the prosecutor, in my professional activity of 35 years, I have acted in line with the legislation, in line with the ethics code and the disciplinary statutes of prosecutors. I try to be objective and fair to gain the trust of citizens in the law. And I think that in most of the cases, I managed to do this. Because in our profession, besides accusations, it's seldom that you hear, thank you. But I can tell you, I even heard this from a person that was convicted. So a person who was convicted thanked me. So I took part in this evaluation to be part of the board for the selection of prosecutors of the SCP. I admit that in some cases related to the failure to declare some savings in cash, bank accounts, I have made mistakes, but I think these were not out of bad will. Between all the declarations were checked by the representatives of the national authority, and they never said that there were some errors, and this can be seen from the documents that are placed on the web page of the authority. I never had or have declarations to submit declarations that are dubious. I think this does not amount to a serious violation of ethics. The suspicion that when concluding the sale purchase transaction, the price was lowered, I think this is not founded, and this is based on some assumptions of a dubious agency. This was done at the proposal of the seller according to the civil proceedings. I remember quite well that in the rounds of questions, probably in the second, I offered the contact phone number and the address so that this person be heard. But I didn't see them being heard to confirm or not my words, so that it is not interpreted that I am lying. And I can tell you in all honesty that in the legislation of the Republic of Moldova, I have never seen standards for the real estate prices. During the Soviet times, there were some prices, but now we don't have prices. The price is set by the parties. I can declare that I was never involved in any businesses while I was a prosecutor. And I consider that the fact that my phone number was given, this cannot be seen as my involvement in this activity. I never had, and currently I have no relation with the activity of my wife, and you can take all the documents. It has no activity. Sometime my wife wanted to have a medical center. This is why she bought this facility. But the prices were so high that she didn't do this. And I was not contacted by economic operators or the state tax service on this. Dear members, thank you for understanding the situation described, and I hope that you will assess subjectively my activity and that you will pass me for a position in the selection board. Thank you.
Thank you for your participation in the hearing today and throughout the evaluation process. The Commission will now deliberate on this matter and issue a decision in due course. The hearing is closed.